German Shepherd's attack. Today's video was requested by Pranav Chanda. If you have any other topics you'd like to learn about, subscribe and let us know in the comments section below. Number 8. Kanchi Dhanani. 10-year-old Kashish Dhanani rescued his 14-month-old sister Kanchi from a German Shepherd attack in December of 2014. The attack took place while the two were playing in the private gardens of the apartment block where they lived in Ahmedabad, India. When the toddler approached the German Shepherd called Sheru, the dog launched to her and picked her up in its mouth. Fortunately, Kashish managed to overcome the shock and fear that had initially taken hold of him upon witnessing his baby sister being dragged away by the massive dog. He bravely intervened and reportedly wrestled Sheru for 10 minutes before it finally released Kanchi from its jaws. The children's mother had heard her boy's screams and went on the balcony of their apartment, which was located on the 11th floor, and saw the dreadful moment when her daughter was being chased by the dog. She attempted to rush down and help them, but upon noticing that the elevator was out of order, she went back to the balcony and started screaming for help. Kashish's courageous intervention most likely saved his sister's life. Amazingly, Kanchi was not injured in the attack and Kashish was only left with some bruises and cuts. The 10-year-old told a news outlet that the incident led him to develop a fear towards dogs. Sheru's owner admitted that the German Shepherd had an aggressive temper. In the attack's aftermath, the dog was moved to a different area of Ahmedabad to live with one of his owner's relatives. Number 7. Marie Clark. While 89-year-old Marie Clark was walking her dog in her Farmington Hills neighborhood in Michigan, they were attacked by a German Shepherd. The dog had jumped out of a truck and lunged straight at Dolly, Marie Clark's pet Shih Tzu. The elderly woman was knocked down but managed to survive the attack with only some scrapes and bruises. Dolly, however, was not as fortunate. The larger dog broke her back and pelvis and tore apart several of the Shih Tzu's inner organs. The damage was so severe that Marie Clark ultimately made the difficult decision of euthanizing her beloved pet to spare it from suffering any further. The German Shepherd reportedly belonged to a painter who had locked it in the car while he was working on a condo across the street. The dog had been in the truck for several hours before it jumped out the vehicle's window, which had been left open. Clark had gotten Dolly after her husband had passed away and was heartbroken to see the dog she had walked 4 times a day for almost 9 years torn to pieces. She cried for days after Dolly's death. Marie Clark did not blame the attacking dog for Dolly's death, but rather the owner who had kept it locked in the car until it became angry and frustrated. She ultimately got a new dog to ease her pain, an 8-year-old Maltese called Romeo. The 57-year-old owner of the German Shepherd was given a misdemeanor ticket for failing to properly confine his pet. Number 6. Fletcher Porritt. In March of 2016, Fletcher Porritt was attacked by a police German Shepherd that was supposed to be chasing a suspect who had fled from his car after crashing it into a garden post. According to his mother, Fletcher mistook the German Shepherd for another that lived around the corner from his house. He got scared and started running, and that is when the dog stopped his pursuit of the suspect and attacked the schoolboy instead. Fletcher tried climbing a fence to get away, but the police dog dragged him to the ground. It bit into the schoolboy's shoulder as he helplessly struggled to get free. At one point, the 10-year-old put his fingers up its nostrils in an effort to deter it from the attack. Fortunately, the police officer who was the dog's handler found them and wrestled the German Shepherd off the schoolboy. Fletcher was rushed to the hospital in the officer's police car. According to Fletcher's mother, medics had told her that her son would be scarred for life. He had muscle damage and puncture wounds on either sides of his shoulder. His mother also worried about the psychological consequences the attack might have on young Fletcher. Even though the suspect was not found, the vehicle was confiscated by the police. The German Shepherd was taken out of commission pending a thorough examination. Police officials expressed their regret and wished the boy a hasty recovery. Number 5. James McCreary. Dublin postman James McCreary was compensated with €100,000 by a judge in Dublin's High Court for the injuries he had received in a 2014 German Shepherd attack. While the man was delivering the post, he was attacked by a large German Shepherd owned by Sheila Morris. According to McCreary, the dog had previously barked at him, frothing at the mouth from behind the gate of its home as he delivered the mail in the postbox outside. He expressed his concerns to the owner. The attack took place on the 30th 21st of October 2014. When McCreary approached the house in his van, he noticed that the gate was open. As he went towards the back of the vehicle to take the letters out, the German Shepherd latched onto his leg. According to his court testimony, "I was screaming, 'Help, help, help.' I thought this was it. I was kicking at the dog. I hit him on the snout, but I was not going to get away from this dog. I thought it might have lasted 3 minutes, but it was probably 30 seconds. The German Shepherd owner's son intervened and pulled the dog off the postman, who barely managed to crawl on his knees towards the van. The incident left McCreary with deep gashes on his leg and reportedly even caused him to suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder afterwards. I was a wreck. It scared the life out of me. It's a cliche to say a dog attacks a postman, but this was no joke," he told a media outlet. The wounds on his right leg became infected and required treatment. He was not able to work again. Number 4. Dana Lyle. The day before celebrating his 10th birthday, Oscar Arrowsmith saved his mother's life. In 2012, Lexi, the family's pet German Shepherd, suddenly attacked the family's older dog. The incident took place near Melbourne in their cockatoo home. Dana Lyle, Oscar's mother, could not find any reason for why Lexi had charged at the other dog and told a news outlet that it seemed like the German Shepherd had snapped and entered kill mode. When she intervened to help the dog, Lexi turned and bit her on the leg and started shaking it with his jaws and ripping out the skin and flesh from behind the knee and from the calf. According to Lyle, the 2-year-old dog lunged at her repeatedly and kept trying to bite higher towards the neck. It charged at her 6 times before Oscar dragged the German Shepherd into the bathroom and locked the door. Oscar then called the authorities, grabbed a towel for his mother's injuries, and helped her get into the lounge room. Lyle was subsequently hospitalized for 4 days, but eventually made a full recovery. In the statement she gave after the attack, the woman expressed her belief that the dog would have killed her if not for Oscar's brave intervention. Lyle told a news outlet that she was puzzled by the fact that Lexi had not attacked her son as he dragged her away. Lyle also added that she was amazed by how calm and composed Oscar had been throughout the whole incident. While Lyle was hospitalized, the German Shepherd was put down by a veterinarian. 4 years after rescuing his mother, Oscar was given an Australian Bravery Award by Governor General Peter Cosgrove. Number 3. Iona Manson. Teenager Iona Manson needed over 50 stitches and facial reconstructive surgery after she was mauled by her 14-month-old pet German Shepherd. The family had had German Shepherds Bracken and his brother Fiden since the two were only 9 days old. They had always been friendly. They could have never imagined the vicious attack that took place when Iona tried to give Fiden his plate of food. As the 13-year-old bent down, the German Shepherd launched at her face. He tore off chunks of Iona's nose as she screamed in agony. Luckily, her mother and father were in the house and were able to chase Fiden away and place him in his cage. According to Mari Manson, the girl's mother, there was so much blood on Iona's face after the attack that she could not see at all. Her parents feared that the dog might have gotten her eyes. Fortunately, Scott Manson, the girl's father, was an army trainee nurse and had previously served as a tank commander for over 18 years. He immediately started treating Iona's wound using socks from the washing basket to stop the bleeding and other bandages until the ambulance services arrived and took her to the hospital. Iona could not remember much of the attack, which had claimed a large chunk of her nose alongside other injuries. The 2-hour reconstructive surgery was successful, and her wounds later healed to the point that the scars were barely visible. Fiden was euthanized, and his brother Bracken was reportedly traumatized after the attack and cowered in a corner for days. The gruesome attack, however, did not influence Iona Manson's love of dogs. According to her parents, the first thing she did upon returning from the hospital was got up to the window and look for Bracken. Number 2. David Fear. 64-year-old David Fear lost his life while trying to protect Betty Long, his 85-year-old neighbor, as she was being attacked by a German Shepherd and a Belgian Malinois. A resident of Grover Beach in California's San Luis Obispo County, Long was walking her dog around the neighborhood when the attack unfolded. According to eyewitnesses, the 2 large dogs lunged at the elderly woman and her small dog. When Fear saw the incident and came to the woman's aid, he was attacked as well. He sustained critical injuries that resulted in significant blood loss. Marcos. Long was left with a broken shoulder and a broken pelvis, but David fears heroic intervention had saved her life. The 64-year-old man was taken to the Sierra Vista Regional Medical Center in San Luis Obispo. Unfortunately, he succumbed to his wounds 3 days after the attack on the 16th of December 2016. He was hailed as a hero by his community. Nearly 100 people gathered near his home in Grover Beach to mourn him. They brought flowers, held candles, and expressed their regrets to Fear's family and to Terry, who had been his partner for 25 years. The two dogs were identified as being the pets of Grover Beach police officer Alex Geiger. The Belgian Malinois was put down and the German Shepherd was placed in quarantine pending a further investigation by Animal Services. Number 1. Skylar Dean Julius. While she was sleeping in a baby bouncer, 2-month-old Skylar Dean Julius was mauled to death by the family's pet German Shepherd. The attack took place in San Marcos, Texas on the 17th of January 2017 while the infant's father was sleeping next to her. When the man woke up 20 minutes later, he saw that his daughter's body was on the floor. As he checked on Skylar, he discovered that she was cold and unresponsive and that she had numerous puncture marks, particularly on her abdomen and torso. Skylar's father phoned 911 and he was instructed by the dispatcher to perform CPR on the baby. When the emergency services arrived on the scene, they took Skylar to the Central Texas Medical Center, where she was later pronounced dead. The family had owned the German Shepherd ever since it was a puppy and claimed that the 8-year-old dog was not aggressive. The names of the parents were not released to the general public, but investigators revealed that Skylar was an only child and that her mother was not present when the attack occurred. The father refused to be tested for drugs and alcohol, and a warrant could not be obtained because of the lack of evidence needed to support probable cause. The initial report stated that Skylar did not show signs of current or prior abuse. More definitive results will be available after an autopsy, and the medical examiner's final result can take up to 9 months to establish. According to Kelly Ernest, the San Marcos police commander, the investigation is ongoing. The German Shepherd involved in the attack was subsequently euthanized.
One of the most common consequences of Dermatobia hominis infestation is the development of an affliction called myiasis. The larvae may parasitize various areas of the human body. Their entry points may be unbroken skin, open wounds or lesions, the nose, or the ears.